Day 1.
Day 1 of Anthrocon, Thursday. After my father and I settled in at the hotel, it was time to head down to Anthrocon. The experience that day mostly just consisted of picking up our badges and learning the layout of the convention center. But despite that, I still had some fun. I went fursuiting for a bit and took pictures of other fursuiters. Maybe it was somewhat of an uneventful start to Anthrocon, but I didn't care. I was just very glad that I was finally at Anthrocon. Up until that point, going to Anthrocon was nothing more than something I dreamed of. From here, things could only get better. And they certainly did.
Day 2.
Day 2 of Anthrocon, Friday. This is where the real fun begins. I also consider it the official start to Anthrocon, as the opening ceremonies were held on this day. I attended a few panels that day, my favorite being Uncle Kage's story time. I didn't really record much from the panels, sadly, because I was too busy actually enjoying them. I also experienced the Headless Lounge for the first time. I was a bit scared to go in at first because the name of the place made it sound like somebody was waiting at the entrance with a samurai sword to slice my head off. But it actually went a little more like this.
They're everywhere. How do I escape them? Oh my god, they're everywhere. Oh no.
Later on, I took my dad to a panel about being a fursuit handler. After that, I got to meet the one and only Telephone, something I only thought would happen when pigs fly. I even got to give Telephone a hug, which is definitely one of the memories from Anthrocon that I will cherish forever. Afterward, it was time to head on down to Uncle Kage's story time. I'd listened to Uncle Kage's story time in previous years on the virtual Anthrocon streams, and I personally think his stories are quite amusing. If you want a good laugh, and obviously if you like listening to people tell stories, then Uncle Kage's story time is the panel for you. Following that, I decided to go hang out with a friend of mine, and I let them lead the way. If only I'd known where I'd end up. If only I'd known. Take a wild guess.
Do not blindly follow your friends, because this is where you might end up. In here.
Yeah, the pool inflatables panel. It wasn't really my thing, so I didn't stick around for too long. I was also going to go to the rave later that evening, but I decided to hold off on that until the next day. Overall, though, I had a blast on Friday, and this was only the beginning of what was to come. Yes, Anthrocon somehow manages to get even better the next day, as if it weren't incredibly awesome already.
Day 3.
Day 3 of Anthrocon, Saturday. I can easily say this was the most fun day of the entire convention. It started off with me wandering around for a bit, then I decided to participate in the fursuit parade. I'll be honest, I had a bit of stage fright at first, but that quickly turned to joy. When we went outside into the street, I was giving the spectators high fives and they loved it. I really wish they could have seen the huge smile I had under my fursuit head.
You probably got a cooling system in there. Where, which one's that?
Tie-dye.
That'd be Jesse, the fursuit guy.
No, it needs to be dirty.
I wanted to see if they could do this.
It looks like she still does the weight. Actually, she told me. Why did you birth her?
The book's her first.
That is really impressive.
He did it all himself.
Wow.
Took him a long time. He did her bodysuit as well.
Cool.
After the fursuit parade, I headed outside to the block party. There was a purple furs photo shoot outside one of the hotels, and since my persona is a purple hyena and I happened to be wearing my fursuit of that character, I was invited. Sadly though, I missed out on it. Better luck next time, I guess. But anyways, I decided to walk around outside and check out what was going on. Everybody seemed to be having a great time, just chilling outside, walking around and socializing. The block party was truly something special, and I really hope it returns next year. I also got to meet and take a picture of yet another legend, Jib Kodi, who's pretty well known for their animations. Her suit is also quite adorable. Shortly after, it was time to head back into the convention center. Originally, I was going to go to some more panels, but they ended up being pretty boring, and I remember hearing about something called Floor Wars. So, I decided to change course, and head on down to where Floor Wars was taking place. And I don't regret that decision one bit. Every single second of Floor Wars was absolutely amazing. The crowd cheering, the dancing, the music. It was awe-inspiring, phenomenal. The energy and the excitement at Floor Wars was unrivaled by anything before this point. After Floor Wars concluded, I waited for the rave to start, and then it began. The rave was on a level of awesome that I had never before experienced. It was beautiful. I let the music take control, and my body started moving. And as if this still couldn't possibly get any better, my friend Pixel was at the rave as well. We found each other, and we danced the night away. I stopped caring about anything else. Nothing else existed. It was just Pixel, me, the music, and the crowd. Then everybody started forming a conga line, and I joined in. We were running around the dance floor, jumping around, and having the time of our lives. The rave honestly was the highlight of the convention for me. The energy, the insane amount of fun, dancing with my friend. It truly was an amazing experience.
Day 4.
Today is now day 4 of Anthrocon. Day 4. It's the final day. What else am I supposed to say? I mean, I really have had a blast here. This has literally been like the most fun I've ever had. Meeting all the other furries, going to panels, floor wars, the dances. It's amazing. I've loved every minute of it. Today I'm probably just gonna take it easy, you know, since it's the last day. I'll probably attend some panels, hit up the dealer's den to get a few souvenirs, and then hit the road and go home. And then I don't know where to go from there. I can definitely tell you though that I will be attending this convention every year for the rest of my life, because that's how fucking amazing it is. Yeah.
Welcome to the parallel universe where I Am Legend is set at Anthrocon. And instead of Will Smith being the star of the show, I am. I feel like if I don't get out of here soon, I'm probably gonna get teleported to the back rooms. Man, it's a beautiful day out here in Pittsburgh today. Not a single cloud in the sky. Almost rather be in the pool right now than in fursuit.
Day 4 of Anthrocon. Sunday. The final day. While not nearly as eventful as the previous 2 days, I still did manage to have a bit of fun one last time. I got to participate in the fursuit games. I was also going to attend some panels, but they weren't really that interesting, so I just walked out on them. Plus, what could possibly be more fun than the fursuit games? The most fluffy and wholesome games one could ever wish to play.
That's okay. You can throw your hand paws down. All right, way to go. Go, 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 go. All right, Albie's gonna fly down here. Go, go.
Come on, Green! Come on, CJ! Come on, CJ! Come on, CJ, go!
Come on, audience. Come on, audience. Come on. There you go.
Chucky!
You're mine, audience. All right, run back. How many are left? Come on, run, 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 run. Is this your last player? Okay. All right. Done.
After the fursuit games concluded, I went to the dealer's den one last time to pick up a few more souvenirs so I could have things to remind me of this truly spectacular experience. I also went to the dance competition, but I couldn't stay for the whole thing, sadly. The parts that I did get to see, though, were pretty cool. But, as with all adventures, they must eventually come to an end. It was time for my least favorite part of the trip. It was time to go home. We planned on leaving early, and it didn't bother me too much since not much was happening after the dance competition anyway, and I could simply watch the closing ceremonies through a live stream. And I'm not ashamed to admit, when I sat down in the car and we started driving away from Pittsburgh, I cried a bit. I was a little sad that the fun was over, but I was also really, really happy that it happened at all. The drive home from Anthrocon, for a lack of a better term, was bittersweet. I basically sat in the car for 7 hours trying to accept the fact that I wouldn't be able to run around as a purple hyena daily anymore, and be around other giant fluffy critters on a daily basis. But the fact that this all only happens once in a blue moon is also part of what makes it special and more memorable. I wasn't able to make it to the closing ceremonies in person, so I watched him on my phone in the car. I also didn't bother taking off my fursuit, or at least the bodysuit, when it was time to get in the car and go home. Yep, I wore it all the way home. It was actually really comfortable. My favorite part of the drive home was playing Mama, I'm Coming Home by Ozzy Osbourne while we were descending down a hill on the interstate and the sun was setting. It felt like a scene out of a movie, honestly. When I finally got home, the first thing I did was remove my fursuit. While taking it off felt like another reminder of the fun being over, it very much needed to be washed, and that was among the first things I wanted to do before settling in at home.
It's time for my favorite part of owning a fursuit, washing it. How amazing. This thing needs to be washed anyway after I wore it for 4 days straight. Yeah. No more smelly hyena.
Yeah, 4 days straight of wearing the fursuit, while definitely fun, was not kind to it at all. But if there's one thing I'm sure about though, that fursuit definitely gained some sentimental value after Anthrocon. Dancing with Pixel and hugging Telephone were definitely the biggest contributors to that. It was now time to adjust back to normal life, and begin looking forward to whatever adventures await me next. Did I forget to mention this was my first furry convention? If there's one thing I'm sure of, it's that Anthrocon was a phenomenal introduction to the world of furry conventions. I was originally not even going to attend Anthrocon this year, but I changed my mind, and I don't regret that decision in the slightest. After all, going to Anthrocon was something I had been dreaming of doing for years. After having to put Anthrocon aside for 3 years because of the shit show of the past few years, it finally happened. Anthrocon also showed me why I love the furry fandom so much. It is truly one of the most artistic, creative, and talented communities I've ever come across. Rather than being about worshipping pre-existing characters and franchises, the furry fandom seems to be more about doing your own thing and creating your own characters. It's also an outlet for self-expression. Furries have their different ways of this. Some like the art, some like to write stories, others like to make music and dance. And my personal favorite is fursuiting. It's beautiful. And I'm damn proud to say that I'm a part of it. And Anthrocon 2022 will be an experience I will remember for the rest of my life.